media and how you're using that as a platform to educate.
Yeah. So I just started on YouTube. I started a YouTube channel. So I've started just 2 months ago. So I'm pretty new to the scene, but it's growing quite quickly. My main aim of starting my channel was to educate, not to sit there and say, you know, this is what you have to do and this is what you shouldn't do, but just to show people. I think educate through vision, I guess.
Yeah.
Show people that you can have a healthy balance between education and between having a social life and maintaining that balance, because I think a lot of people think that you either have to be dedicated to your work or school or whatever, or you're completely on the other side, and I completely disagree. I mean, I'm doing a PhD, yet if you see my YouTube channel you'll think that I'm always going out, always, but honestly it's not the case at all. That's just my spare. I'm in uni 9 to 5 most days, even weekends sometimes, but whenever I have time I spend that having a social life, and it means that I have a good balance and I don't tire easily. I haven't taken a holiday from uni in I don't know how many, nearly a year now, but I don't feel like it, because on the weekends I make sure that I have a social life. So I think that's where social media is quite important, in the sense that I'm trying to show others that you can have that balance, and this is how you can do it in a good way. You know, you don't have to go to clubs and all these places. You can have fun just walking down Tower Bridge or London Bridge, or just go something quite simple, free as well. You don't have to pay anything for it. So I think that's how I'm using my platform to educate, I guess, in that aspect.
Very good.
Okay, and so with you talking about videos and through videos having that as a channel of educating, that shows the different types of education there are. So the different types of learners there are also in education. There's like the visual type of people that learn. There's the kinetic learners, the people that learn through listening. I know some people that go to sleep with headphones on, and the next day they'll learn another language, or something along those lines. So how do you see that? And how would tutors, so when you go to tutors at home, or if someone comes to your house, or if you go to a tuition, how would they have to tackle that task of having to learn or teach to individual learners and show the exact same quality and the exact same effort into all of them? Is because without that, then is there a real need for parents to be paying X amount of money for someone who's not able to teach the different kids, because they've all got a different way of learning?
I think it's very individual. I mean, I learn in one way. I learn in a mixture of ways, actually. I don't just learn from listening, I can learn from seeing and other things. But I think every student is different. That's where, like Mahmoud was saying, tuition is good, because it allows more one-to-one, or more close 1 to 3 or something learning, so the teacher can really focus on that student. And I think that's very important. Whereas in the classroom in London, there's 30 kids in one class. There's no way that a teacher can speak to every single child. There's 1 hour of lesson, there's 30 kids, most 2 minutes per child. So I think tuition in that aspect is good, but I think that parents shouldn't be pressurized into it. Pressurized into thinking that my child needs to go to tuition to get this grade, because you don't. I didn't go to tuition. I didn't go to tuition at all. I just learned at school, and my school wasn't the best school as well. It was not that great. In East London, it wasn't a great school. Like 10 years ago, it wasn't that good. So I think now I would say that schools, especially in London, are very good on the whole. A lot of them are now academies, and a lot of them are pretty good schools. So I would definitely recommend parents, especially, push your child in school more than outside of school. I think in school they have enough education time, but make sure that they're doing their homework and they're getting extracurricular things in. But every child is different. I think that's the key. No two children learn in the same way. That's, I think, important.
So in your lecturing, Mohammed, if you could just talk to us a little bit about your lecturing and what you've experienced in terms of how education is received by the people you've been lecturing.
The sister here mentioned a very, very good point, and she talked about different learning preferences. I had a very different perception prior to my fellowship, and then I realized that once we join the academic world, there's a bigger world out there, and the competition rises, and you have to raise the bar. And I think with certain tuitions, having the right tuition for your children allows the child to prepare for the real world. Because you could be a Somali guy from East London doing well amongst your peers, but from a national perspective, you're a nobody, you know.
Yeah.
So and this is, you realize once you go towards when you enter red brick universities and you start excelling in your career, and then you realize, wow, I'm more of an Eton student, you know, and he has amazing resources. He has parents who are able to support him in his progress. And I think Somalis recently started joining this trend, even East Africans, and it's good. However, as the sister mentioned, it needs to be done properly. You know, you can't just pay money for the students and expect change. The tuition centers have to do it properly. There needs to be curriculum in place. It needs to have the right syllabus for the right. Because I've seen so many Somali students. They study AQA for GCSE science, and they're studying, they're revising OCR syllabus at tuition centers.
It's a waste of money.
And it's a shame because the parents are being, they're being robbed by these cowboys.
Basically,
yes. So it has to be done properly. If it is done properly, then it can succeed. Now, the experiences I faced was, I think there's many other, mashallah, Somalis who do really well. I think education, if you really start excelling in your academics, there is a little turning point where some Somalis think they have surpassed being Somali. So I'm no longer Somali because I'm educated. But it should be the start, and those who are doing very well, they should think and say, it's my time to contribute. I have to. It's a Islamic obligation. It's a social obligation to contribute. You know, and not only as humans, we have to give back to the community. So you can't just dwell in your career and nothing to do with Somalis or East Africans. You have to give back, because the younger generation require backbone, especially at this day where the role models tend to be ones that I can't even imagine. But you know, it's step by step, inshallah.
As Mahmoud touched earlier on with how the word Iqra is in the Quran for read, that's a very big message. So communication and being able to read is a very, very, very important part of life. How would you see communication as the platform to help as well teach other people to be able to educate? Because this is not only just in a classroom. Once again, this could also be two students talking to each other. This could be parents helping with their child, because educating someone is not only helping them learn something that's in a book or something factual or a numbers thing. It could also be as a person, so helping etiquettes and good manners. So I believe education and having a good education helps you with those parts. Do you have anything that in particular stands out to you in terms of communication or communication in regards to education?
I think communication in regards to education is, I think, best placed visually, as opposed to, I mean, as a child, if someone were to tell me, do this, you know, I'm less likely to listen to them, as if I were to see them and they were to be a role model to me. So I think the generation now of, I guess, East Africans and Africans in general in the UK or in these Western countries are all getting educated, and the younger generations will look at them and say, wow, you know, that's a Somali, or that's you know, that's someone just looks like me, but she's a PhD, he's a lecturer, and it looks nice, and it's something that they haven't seen before. And I've received comments on my YouTube channel saying, you know, I did a biology degree, but I didn't go into a PhD because I didn't see anyone that looked like me. But if I saw you, I would have done it. And that's so sad to me, you know, the fact that there's no one that looks like us in these places. And I think that's where communication is important, where it's not even speaking, it's just being there, you know. And it comes back to giving back as well. You don't have to necessarily go back to Africa to give back. You can give back here.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You don't have to go back. Like people, you know, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to Ethiopia either, but I can give back here, and give back to people who are here, because we're struggling here as well. It's not just back home. We're struggling in London. It's a huge problem in the community, I'm sure. So
what I think is that also having an education is that bridge between doing something as a process, because you've been told to do that as a process, or it's in between the process of doing something and also learning or understanding why you're doing it. So even when you're a child,
Yes.
the first few things you learn is why. You
Yes.
keep asking why, because
Yeah.
your brain is learning. Like you're growing as a person. You're trying to understand why something is being done. So if something like that happens again next time,
Yes.
then you know what to do.
Yes.
Without that education, the type of jobs are more restricted to the process type of jobs, where you're told make sure you get that done by the end of the week, and that's just what your role is. So you've got a task in your hand.
Yes.
You're just completing that task, finishing it, and then the next week, tasks again.
Yes.
Education is that bridge between two.
I think you mentioned a very interesting point. I think the theory that you mentioned is called the reward principle. It's when you do well, you get rewarded, and if you do something bad, you get punished.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, our culture, Somali culture, East African culture, has adapted the punishment reward, the punishment principle, which is if you don't pass, you get beaten up. No one tells you if you pass, you do well in life. So we have adapted, okay, I can't fail, I can't let my parents down, and this has made some of our people not very confident in what they want to choose. Like the sister was telling me, since she wants to apply for PhD, if someone told them you can do it, why not? You know, nothing is impossible. Then more brothers and sisters would have applied for such courses. And you also have to understand what's happening now is there's the Eurocentric view of the reward principle, which is very European based, and then there's the Eastern principle, and then people mistake it from the Islamic. It's not actually Islamic. The Islamic theology doesn't promote punishing people if they do bad. Islam, during the time of Ibn Taymiyyah, you had to master different fields just to study Islam. Just for you to become a sheikh, you had to master science, philosophy, the linguistic skills. Then you can study Islam. Algebra was a Muslim who contributed towards. So you have all these misconceptions that our culture and our religion doesn't promote education. It actually is the opposite. It promotes education. Now it's for us to make sure to differentiate between the punishment and the reward. And as Somalis, we have to reward those who do well, not just punish those who do bad. Yes, there are many brothers and sisters in prison, but there's a lot of good brothers and sisters doing well. The sisters say right here is a PhD candidate. So
you could always focus on the negative of that one.
Absolutely.
Okay, that is that way now, but it's about trying to improve on it, trying to better yourself, better your community. Helping your siblings. It could be a bunch of school kids on the bus, and you see them they're doing something wrong. Even the way they're speaking to someone, just by communicating or telling them, listen, that's not the right thing to do. That will help you, because if we understand that we're in the United Kingdom, so we are a representation of our people. And even though, in my opinion, presentation or perception from others to yourself shouldn't be the main thing of yourself, because what matters to you should be how happy you are in yourself. So studying and education itself is the type of things that will help you mentally think in that manner. So in regards with education and our community as a whole, we have, in the last, say, 20 odd years, it has improved, in my opinion. From what I've experienced, it has improved. It was a lot. The younger I was, a lot of the people around us were doing completely different things. It's the only thing they knew, because that's the only thing they watched as well on TV. Because TV is a big place where people study and get educated from. But over the past 16 to 20 years, I would say, it has improved a lot. And Mohammed, as you said, it means that Somali families have gone more towards putting their kids through schools, not just staying at home playing PlayStation or any console all day every day, not seeing studying and seeing school as work, because some children nowadays see studying as work. So I've got to go Monday to Friday to study, even though you finish earlier. But having that mindset, I think if you have education within you and you know the importance of education, you won't just go into that school because your mum's told you to go to that school. You'd want to go because you want to learn. You want to know more. How much? I mean, I'll start off with you and then ask Mohammed as well. In terms of being a backbone of life, how can it shape a person? education as a whole. So now we're not just thinking about studying, we're
Yeah.
not just thinking about schools, we're going through social media, technology, education as a whole, and from your own personal experiences, how is the backbone of, what do you think is the backbone of life in terms of, do you think it's education, or, and how important is it?
I think education is something that we are fed from the age of 3 years old in nursery.
Yeah.
So, for example, in my life now, since I was 3 years old, I have been in education. Like, all I know is education so far. And this is, it's been like 20 something years now. It's just education, basically. So for me, I would say the backbone of my life is education. And I don't think you ever stop learning, to be honest. Like, I don't think you ever stop learning. I mean, my dad is still learning now, and he's much older, and although maybe he's not in a degree or he's not in a course, but he's always opening books, he's always writing things down, and I look at him and I think, wow, like, you're still learning. And you never stop learning. I think part of life is to keep learning, keep changing, because society changes with the years, so you can't be stuck in that time. You have to learn what's going on in society, in the world. I think especially maybe in science, for example, in my field in science, things change very rapidly. New drugs come, new cancer drugs, new medicines. I can't just stay in one box. I have to continue. So I think education is the backbone for a lot of things. Even, I mean, app designers now make millions. Some of them don't have an education, some do, but they need to be able to be educated in app design, for example, in order to do that. So education is not just a degree. I think it's a big misconception. To be educated, you have to have a degree. I don't think that's the case. I would say the Prophet Muhammad was educated. He was illiterate, but he was educated. Couldn't read or write, but you would say he was educated. So, I mean, it's not just a degree or GCSE or an A-level or a PhD. Those are more, paper education. Like, here, I've got a PhD. You can buy them in some countries. It's not always. But I think education, it's a mindset. If you tell yourself, I'm going to be an educated mind, no matter where you go in the world, if you travel, I travel quite a lot around the world as well. I've been to Australia, America. If I was uneducated, not paper education, if I was uneducated as a mind, I wouldn't accept the social differences. I would just go there ignorant. But when I go to somewhere, I educate myself about the culture, the language, the people, the traditions, and I work on that. And for that reason, I integrate with the society. I think that's also key. Integrating with society is how education helps, I think.
And yourself, you?
I agree. I think I probably will say the same stuff this sister mentioned, but I think the problem here is, if that's the case, then how comes no one wants to go into education? Not many people want to go into education. I think money plays a key factor. I think a lot of these students, they graduate or they finish A-levels and then I need to get paid. I want to get paid. I can't be bothered going 4 years at university, 3 years, and I think it's a problem. I think a lot of people don't see the long-term investment in education. Keep in mind, it's what, $9,000 a year. So people are looking for alternatives, and unfortunately, some of the alternatives is instant employment, whether it's in retail. And then think about it, this child, this student could be the next Einstein. But he's working in blockbusters now. I don't think they exist no more.
But I think you have to bear in mind the background that child came from. They probably, their parents probably immigrants to this country, and all they've seen is their parents struggle. So as soon as they can find a job, they want to. And I don't blame them in that aspect. But I think that's where apprenticeships help. That's a way of getting money, not very much, but you get some money. But you also, I guess.
But the apprentices, contrary to social beliefs, the apprentices are there for statistical purposes. They say, okay, you have level 3 qualifications, get a job. Why are you not getting a job? You have the qualifications now. So it's pushing students to go into fields they might not wish. Now, you mentioned in regards of the parents, if the student, and this happens in many occasions, many students come up to me and say, listen, I want to do my university. However, I just done my A-levels. I don't think I'm going to get the results this summer. There's no problem retaking. Retake your exams, take a gap year, find out what you want to do, apply for medicine, apply for dentistry, apply for red book universities, why not? And I think this is the issue. A lot of students, they assume, okay, this is it, I have to go uni. Mom saying, why are you not going uni? So it's a problem. But I think the solution to the problem is, my advice to the youngsters who are watching, is make sure you pick what you're good at, stick to it. Find an alternative, do your research, make sure you know your surroundings. A lot of universities do a widening participation schemes. They're looking for young, talented brothers and sisters from the ghettos, as you call it, who are the first applicants to university, and they're promoted. You actually get special grants. They assist you. So I don't believe the whole notion that if you're from certain areas of London, that you shouldn't go to university.
I think that just goes to show you that education is there for you. Studying at one of the top universities is there for you. It's not necessarily something that, because I know that the people, our Somali people and people probably from East Africa as well, would think, oh, I'm not going to that university. Why? Because
I don't fit in.
Because I don't fit in. That's not my people. It's not about fitting in. You will never fit in anywhere instantly. But if you're brought up well, and if you're educated and you have the right principles, then you'll be able to fit in anywhere.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense. How would you see, and what would your messages be to the younger generation out there in terms of education as a whole, its importance, and why and how they can push themselves further? Because some people, I do know some younger children have ambitions and dreams of becoming a footballer, but unfortunately not everyone is going to become a footballer. Some people have ambitions, or their mum and dad have told them, become a doctor, become a businessman, become a nurse. But when they try to study those courses and they find out it's not something that they want to do, where do they go then? What would your message be for people who have some sort of obstacle out there, and have something blocking them from reaching that end goal? We'll start with you, Amina.
I think the key in life, in everything, not just in education, but even in religion and everything, is to always look at the end goal. In this life we do good things. We have an end goal. Same with education. You study. It's hard. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But at the end you're going to have an educated person. You're going to make your parents proud. You're going to help the next generation. Your children will reap the rewards of you getting that education. And you've also proved to the people that said you can't do it that you did it. You beat all the odds and you got the education. And I think the key is always to remember that education is inclusive. It's for everybody. I think people forget, I can't go to, I wanted to go to Cambridge and Oxford when I was applying, but no one told me to apply. I just, I thought, I don't think I'll get, but I had the best grades in my whole secondary school, the best, but I didn't apply. No one told me to apply, and I think it's sad when that happens to students. You should always remember that. Don't think my colour or my ethnicity or my background or anything should affect it. If anything, now these days they want us. They actually look for us. They look for people like us, and they say, you come. So I think the key is to apply, to have a goal, set your mind to that goal, do what you love. Life is not about doing something that you don't love. Make your job something that is not, you're not working, you're doing something and you're getting paid for something that you love doing. So that would be my message to the youth out there, I guess. Just have a positive mind, look at people that are similar to you. There are loads of them out there. I mean, there's 3 on this table alone. Look at people that are similar to people like you and push yourself towards the goal that you want. And in life, things don't always, it's not a straight line. There's always going to be things, pricking you here and stopping you here and tripping you up here. Trip over it and just stand up again, don't trip and stay on the floor. I think that's the key. Just have the mindset. What do you want to, when do you want to do this? How do you want to do this? What are you going to do? And do it.
Absolutely.
And yourself, Mohammed?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think there's a famous saying which goes like, you measure success by the number of obstacles you go through. So if you have a lot of obstacles, then you have greater success. And that's the beauty of it. The whole journey is going to be amazing. Yes, you can. I don't want to sound like Barack Obama, but I think you can. You should apply for any course that you want. You should be confident enough, do a lot of research, find out the job titles, find out what the requirements are, phone them up. I used to call them up all the time and find out what these courses are, these special names, and find out which university does it, and call the admission department. I remember I used to come to King's admissions like 2 weeks before my interview, just looking around, just trying to familiarize myself with the environment. So you can do it. I'm from Hackney, by the way.
Okay.
So I grew up pretty rough, but it is possible. And I think I haven't made it. You know, it's not like I made it. That's not like that. It's you can, and especially the young brothers, they have better resources than we had when we were growing up. I think when I was growing up, there was no such thing as private tuition. Only push people would get private tuition. Now it's everywhere. Students have access to internet. We had MSN, that's it. They have Instagram and Snapchat. So do take advantage of it. But I think another topic that hasn't been really covered properly is, yes, the youngsters have a lot of access to greater resources, but there's a lot of peer pressure nowadays, which stops them from it's more a psychological constraint. They want to be cool, they want to be part of this gang, they want to be part of this. I think that might be an issue, because they do have the resources. Why they're not excelling, I think, is because the little the social surroundings.
I see the social aspect of it as another factor that's distracting them, because even if it wasn't social as in physical social, I know a lot of people that just wake up and first thing they do is they open up their phone and it's about social media. They're looking at what message they received the night that they fell asleep, and what did they miss watching. So there are plenty of factors that prevent students from learning, in my opinion.
So surroundings, the peers, your friends.
It's about who you know. It's about
absolutely, I agree.
It's about who you're.
I think one thing that we didn't talk about is parents. Or education at home, because honestly, I think education at home is more powerful than any kind of education. Any kind. You can go to school 9 to 5 or 9 to 3 and learn everything you want, and come home and just your parents telling you forget about education, go get a job. Then of course you're never gonna want to excel. I know people that are like that. Their parents tell them to go and work as soon as they can. Now that person is never going to get an education. They could be the next Einstein, like you said. They could be the next surgeon. They could be the next anything. So I think parents definitely don't inhibit your children. I would say don't inhibit your children from being.
And what I would say is that on your path, there's always going to be something there to stop you, to trip you over.
100%.
It's just like Amina said. So it's not about the fall itself. It's not about being on that journey. It's about how quick you can get up from that floor and just carry on going. Because once you get up from that obstacle, it's gone. There will be other obstacles in the way after, but you do continuously ongoing. So
Rome was not built in a day. They say like the Quran was not revealed like this. 25 years. Perfection is not overnight. Perfection requires years.
So how can people get in contact with you guys? How would they be able to get in touch? Would you like to go first?
So I have a YouTube channel, as I mentioned. It's I Am In A Place, so it's a play on my name and the fact that I travel a lot, so it's I Am In A Place.
That's pretty good.
It's kind of, it's quite funny. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see my email address. If you need to contact me about anything, I reply to all my emails. Comment in my video as well. And I'll try to educate you as much as I can in that platform. So.
And Mahmoud, how will people be able to get in contact with you?
You can add me on Facebook. It's Mahamud Jama. That's MOHAMUD. Jama, Jama. You can go to my website, Conscienta-TEC. That's an educational consultancy. If you want to become a teacher, a qualified teacher, you want to do some. If you require curriculum development at your institution, feel free to contact me. Or if you want to go back home and contribute, teach the teachers, then we're able to accommodate your needs. Free flight ticket, free food, free holiday.
Can I come?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. PhD candidate.
Also, if you wanted to contact us, back to my roots, the email address would be youthforthought@gmail.com. So that's youth, YOUTH, for and thought @gmail.com. And also, if you wanted to follow us on Facebook or like our page, it's Youth for Thought. So that's YOUTH for youth, FOR for four, and thought. So I'm spelling for you guys as well. You're learning something new. THAUGHT. And please let us know if you have any questions, any ideas, anything that you'd want us to discuss, anything that you want us to, any feedback would be very much welcomed as well. So please do get in touch. And from the three of us, thank you very much for listening. And guys, thank you for being here. That was a very good discussion. You're welcome. That was amazing. Thank you very much. So I'll see you guys on our next show, and that's Back to My Roots, Culture TV.
Station 19 Grey's Anatomy crossover event, January 23rd on ABC.
Kami siapkan sejumlah informasi Kota Dumai untuk Anda.
Beberapa informasi yang kami hadirkan pastinya untuk informasi terkini pembangunan yang ada di Kota Dumai.
Pelabuhan, perdagangan, turisme, serta industri menuju Kota Dumai pengantin berseri. Jelas dan berimbang.
Saya Usni, saya Khairul Iwan.
Saya Rafa Mizwar, jangan lupa terus saksikan Dumai Berseri.
Dumai Berseri, jelas, berimbang, dan informatif.
Dan ini sebetulnya kalau dinilai juga terbaik karena ada 24 spesies bakau di sini. Jangan lupa.
Dumai Vision, tetap yang terbaik.
Bueno, pues estamos todos aquí reunidos para casar a Follardo y Follarda. Follardo, vamos a proceder a ver. ¿Qué pasa? ¡Guarramajo y la boda! No pasa nada, hombre. ¿Qué pasa? ¡Movida! Los mejores vídeos de internet. Hola amigos y amigas, comenzamos otra nueva edición de Worldwide Best Videos. ¿Cómo estamos? Estamos de lujo, efectivamente, porque comenzamos un nuevo programa en el que tendremos mucha de migrancia. Tendremos cosas muy interesantes y muy desconcertantes, claro que sí. Pero recuerden que ahora nos toca hablar de una cosa. Atención, que es lo que pasa en estos momentos cuando los trabajadores municipales se dedican a recolectar las naranjas. Claro, vean y creen ustedes.
Venga, Michi, vamos, a ver. Al suelo, eso. Y 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, dame 2 más. 8, 9, 10, otra más. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Eso, muy bien, Michi.
Bueno, muy bien, Michifu, lo has hecho de lujo. Bueno, y continuamos, creo que sí, en World Web Video, porque vamos de nuevo a ver el canal de Robert, este hombre que no sabemos de dónde es, pero que hace unos vídeos muy desconcertantes. Vean y crean ustedes, atención.
Asterisco.
Por el culo de la Inco.
Estamos aquí en un nuevo vídeo para el canal y gente, no estoy solo.
No hay colegio.
¡Hostia, chico, puto amo! Vale, gente, vamos aquí de escenas de clase y vamos a los menos cosas de... Una loca en la Alicia. ¡Vamos allá!
No hay activity.
¡A los de Delicia! Toto, ¿quién es? Talanda, ¿qué Talanda? Muy bien, ¿y tú? ¡Gente! Sí, ¿sabes que ya llevo un rato buscándote? ¡Quiero la mi nuclear! Espérate, porque vamos a entrar aquí. ¡Que solo es lava!
No hay colegio.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
0-0.
Me sumo el oído. El sabio Vega me estará escuchando con el láser de la NASA.
¡Ay, qué bien me lo estoy pasando en la playa! ¡Voy a comerme un plátano! ¿Pero qué es esto? ¡Este plátano está completamente podrido! Efectivamente, si el plátano está completamente podrido porque usted ha sido víctima de un espionaje con láser por parte de la NASA. Asociación Plataforma de Afectados por el Láser de la NASA de Chiclana de la Frontera. ¿Y el juicio contra la NASA cuándo?
Cuando has invertido todo tu tiempo y todo tu dinero en un trasplante capilar y el resultado no es el que esperabas, es Benson. Llama ya.
Estás a tiempo de llamar.
Bueno, y seguimos con más de migracia porque ahora nos toca hablar y ver cómo es una cucaracha con autotune. Claro que sí, una cucaracha con autotune.
Olivia Jessica Cheuma.
Bueno, yo creo que el hombre este Dante necesita una clínica dental urgentemente. Bueno, señores, seguimos porque tenemos que hablar de muchas cosas que son interesantísimas. Y bueno, para ver qué se va a hacer, seguimos porque ahora nos toca entrar en Mega de Migrancias. Claro que sí, Mega de Migrancias, la sección que más mola. Sí, pero... ya vamos, ya vamos. Y hoy en Mega de Migrancias, ¿qué tenemos preparado? Vamos a hablar de más insultos en programas de televisión. Pero antes vamos a poner a Yoshi bailando. ¿Pero eso por qué? Porque nos da la gana. Ah, vale. Bueno.
Empecé a jugar el juego de Among Us. Pensé que iba a ganar, pero me mataron. El juego es muy entretenido, pero me mata siempre el asesino.
No hay activity, no hay activity.
Empecé a jugar el juego de Among Us. Pensé que iba a ganar, pero me mataron. El juego es muy entretenido, pero me mata siempre el asesino.
Entiendo estas cosas, estas cuentas aleatorias de mierda.
Bueno, continuamos, que esto es lo que íbamos a ver, ¿no? Sí, esto es lo que íbamos a ver. Lo que pasa es que nos hemos distraído un poquito.
Buenas noches.
Oiga.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Eres un cerdo sinvergüenza.
Bueno, nos han insultado, pero eso está dentro del sueldo. Así que bueno, lamentamos esta llamada, pero seguimos tratando de enseñar a nuestros televidentes en radio y televisión insular. Bien, parece que se ha cortado. Tenemos la llamada. Buenas noches.
Oiga.
Buenas noches.
Cerdo asqueroso.
Hombre, esta noche vamos de cerdo y asqueroso.
Estaba cantado.
Esta es alguna amiga que tengo por ahí que debe ser que no la ha tratado bien y por eso pues ampara, vuelvo a repetir reiteradamente, en el anonimato para insultar.
Mi petición para los equipos que ascenderán a Primera División en esta temporada. Primero va a quedar el Huesca como campeón de Segunda División con 76 puntos. Segundo, el Rayo Vallecano con 76 puntos también. Tercero, Racing Santander con 72 puntos, que accederá por el playoff de ascenso de Segunda A Primera División. Esa es mi petición para la Liga Smart Bank 2019-2020. Adiós, gracias, un saludo.
Continuamos en World Wide Video analizando qué es lo que pasa cuando acercas la lengua a una raqueta antimosquito. Atención, mira lo que hace. La saca, chispazo. ¡Ay! No hay colegio.
Hola, buenas, ¿qué pasa, chaval? Soy tu entrenador de grafitis. Ya sé pintar bien, yo no necesito de eso. Yo solo quiero pintar trenes. No, pues me han contratado porque pintas como el culo. A ver, lo primero, el pasamontañas. Lo segundo, ¿de qué team de trazo eres? Apoyo del rayito, ¿O qué del rayo? ¿Ves cómo necesitas un entrenador?
Ay, me haré muy famoso pintando litritas de colores por todas las persianas. Me haré famosa.
Bueno, todo muy sugerente, ¿no? Claro. Ahora vamos a una sección que es épica. Tecnología para todo, porque ahora nos toca hablar de tecnología, informática, electrónica y toda esa ciencia afines. Tecnología para todos.
¿Está tu computador muy lento?
Vamos.
¿O se congela y se cuelga?
Que me quedo congelado de verdad.
Necesitas el increíble Wind Cleaner.
Me vengo.
Wing Cleaner comienza automáticamente. Viruse. Matipoto
es patrocinado por Antel.
Que me quedo congelado de verdad.
Antel.
Viruse.
Jalando merdo, me ha pillado jalando merdo. Me ha pillado con las manos en el don. De lujo. Y es que jalando merdo, me ha pillado jalando merdo. En un vídeo donde usted baja. De lujo. Bueno, señores, claro que sí, esto es tremendamente espectacular, amor, si es esto, Wing Cleaner. Claro que sí, si te llena tu computadora de viruses, Wing Cleaner. Y bueno, pues eso es lo que hay. Bueno, vamos a conectar ahora mismo con otra sección de nuestro programa, de nuestra sección Tecnología para Todos, porque nos toca hablar de una cosa muy interesante. Sí, vamos a verla ahora.
Les hablamos hoy de una nueva empresa nacida en Ubrique. Su nombre es SIM, Sistema Inalámbrico de Información Multimedia.
Mira, María, ya me han mandado el presupuesto de Benson.
¡Uy, qué bien! 8.000 euros.
A ver si me paso esta pantalla, soy un hacker.
A ver, un trasplante capilar, 200...
Pues nada, que estábamos aquí una tarde, los colegas, echando unos litros y dijimos, bueno, ¿qué hacemos con estos ordenadores que mangamos del punto limpio hace ya tiempo? Y dijo uno, pues vamos a hacer un programa para poner información y cosas de esas ahí para que lo vean, ¿no? Y bueno, pues aquí vamos aquí a estar trabajando aquí con este ordenador mangado del punto limpio, que tiene más años que la top. Bueno, aquí este cable también lo mangamos. Y bueno, aquí pues lo que no se ve es que nos cargamos una plancha del techo. Bueno, aquí está este hackeando algo, no sé qué está haciendo. Y bueno, esto me gusta también que no encontramos en un contenedor. Y bueno, pues aquí ya está todo funcionando, ya se ve todo, que esto es lo que hay. Chacho, aquí tiene que me bajé anoche de la Rico Costilla. Y la película no porque me la bajé también, pero que no se entere mi mujer. Pues sí, soy aquí el programador. Y claro, como soy el que programa, soy el que más piensa. Y por eso soy el que menos pelos tiene. Que hemos inventado esto, ya no hay tanta de mi colega, ¿no? Estamos ahí con unos litros en el parque. Y dijimos, bueno, ¿qué hacemos con esta aplicación? Pues vamos a ver si hacemos algo, nos hacemos rico y me implanto pelo, que falta me hace. Y bueno, pues digo, pues cogemos los panos y esto y que nos lo monten gratis. Nosotros pues nos damos todos los beneficios y yo en mi pelo, claro, que es lo importante. Y eso, ¿no? Que es muy bueno porque ya además pues se puede poner mucha información, se puede poner la última, se puede poner, pues yo sé, las últimas novedades no por de la actualidad. Y bueno, también puedes conectar vídeos de Jordi NP. Y también se puede ver pues el canal de Enzo, de Jordi Carvet Arcas. Y también pues vamos a poner para que se oigan los altavoces el disco Costilla. Y también de camino que salgan los resultados de la NBA, conectando con la FM Musical de Santa Bárbara y que allí dan los resultados. Eso es lo que, mira, todos los miércoles de 4 a 5 o película no por, en el descanso del comedor. Y ya está.
¡Ay, mira lo que sale ahí! ¡Una foto! ¡Ay, una foto de mi amigo! ¡Ay, qué bueno está! ¡Buah, chaval! De aquí a Los Ángeles Lakers con LeBron. Mira qué cara estoy hecho. ¡Uy! ¡Entró!
Y ahora, unos consejos.
Cuando has invertido todo tu tiempo y todo tu dinero en un trasplante capilar y el resultado no es el que esperabas, es Benson. Llama ya.
Estás a tiempo de llamar.
La primavera trompetera ya llegó. Yo me despido de la brisa.
¿Te zumba el oído? Si te zumba el oído, te escuchan con láser en la NASA. Es un mensaje de la Asociación Nacional Afectados por el Láser de la NASA. Celularizados. Hoy en Celularizados aprenderemos lo malo que es dejar un teléfono sin supervisión parental.
No hay colegio, ¿eh? No hay colegio.
Ven, sígueme. Vamos a divertirnos un poco. Quédate aquí, Kirby. Voy a cocinar.
La pechuguita, la plancha.
Que me pongan en la sopa más rico.
No sirve, pero que... ¿Por qué rayos estás escuchando la copia mala de Man's Hot?
En las noticias.
Chucha, qué weón. Bueno, estamos en las noticias de Canal 0 y les tenemos algo importante que decir.
El Jordi se fue a la playa de la Costilla y se...
Tira un tostador mangado del punto limpio y...
que me mato como a media España y no sé.
¡Qué weón! ¡Uy!
¿Esto es canal o canal serio? Adiós.
Yo lo mandaba a la playa de... A la playa de la costilla, que era un poquito el zorrillo.
Y ahora, unos consejos.
Hola, soy Javier Yankee. Y como les decía, es que no sé cómo se llama. Miren, gente, aquí hay sociedad.